I have been asked many times by people in my personal life and even people online in comment sections and live streams the question what I would do if I was in charge of DC. The current state that DC is in right now, and the state it has been for over the past couple of years, it's really tricky. It's 50-50 for me. There would be very few things I would like to do other than be in charge of DC. That would be a dream come true. It would be amazing, not just for me, but probably for a lot of people who love DC as much as I do. I also don't want to be in charge of what this company looks like right now. I wouldn't want to be anywhere near them. As many of you know, I don't shy away from my opinion on here, and I don't lie to any of you. I have to be honest with you. It's probably bold of me to say, but I'm gonna say it. I am not really looking forward to the DCU. I don't have too much of an interest in it. There's nothing that they have really done, from casting announcements to the announcements of new movies, that have gotten me particularly interested in its future. I, like any other normal human out there, has opinions, has criticisms, and has voiced their concerns on the future of DC. I think the DC fan base is too far spread apart to really rally anybody behind this brand. I think the general audiences have completely tapped out and do not care what DC and Warner Brothers does anymore. And I think in a time where superhero films and content is on very shaky ground, it's not the best of times to be starting a brand new DC universe. So this would more so be what I would do if I was in charge of DC, but also what I think they should just be doing in the first place. What I would do, and this is going to be something many people don't want to hear, but it's actually relatively simple, I would just not be making the DCU. That's it. That would be my solution to DC's problem. No cinematic connected universe. You could maybe have connected universes solidified to one particular character in the world around them, but we will get into that. Like I just previously said, when you look at the climate of which superhero content seems to be right now, it's very shaky, and it certainly isn't a good look for a company in DC led by Warner Brothers, who consistently has box office bombs and just straight up financial failures, leadership failures, all above. Some people say it's superhero fatigue. Other people say there's no such thing as superhero fatigue. We're just tired of bad stories. So nonetheless, there is a fatigue that is being sprouted up from superhero stories. Connected universes is huge. It's amazing. It's grand. It's something that every corporation and studio wants. It's something that maybe me as a creative mind, maybe some of you as creative minds, when we have ideas and we jot them down, we grow this whole world in our head and we create a connected universe. Not many people understand that the Marvel Cinematic Universe was 1 in a million, if not 1 in a billion chance of actually happening. That's not something that happens every day, and frankly hasn't been something that has been executed well by other studios, productions, and IPs. And I think in a time where a lot of people are kind of getting drained on connected universes, and I'm not saying don't want superhero content anymore, you can still make well-crafted superhero content. I don't know how many people are going to be willing to sit here again for another 10 years to get from the beginning of your story to the massive climax of your story before you start a new saga the way Marvel has been doing it. I do not think it is the right time. DC feels like the person who shows up at the party at 2 a.m. and says, "Hey everybody, I'm here, let's get wasted," and everyone is already either wasted or passed out. Then starting a new connected universe with a Superman movie, in which seems to be drawing a lot to the Christopher Reeve Superman, an era of superheroes that don't interest many people anymore, directed by a man in James Gunn, who has said within the past year and a half, before he became CEO of DC, that he's never had any interest in working on a character like Superman, it's a weird choice to be propelling your universe this way. And to me, that inspires no such confidence. Starting your new universe with, let's say, Batman, don't get me wrong, I would still have my concerns about the future of the DCU, especially when you look at the company they are within, Warner Brothers. Things don't look good for them. But at least with Batman, you know you are guaranteed to get a fan base in, and you're guaranteed to get the general audience in. I've said many times on this channel before, it does seem to be that the only thing that really sells for DC is Batman. Batman anything. Comic books, animated TV shows and movies, live action movies, TV shows, video games. Batman will sell no matter what you decide to make. I also think that within a company like Warner Brothers, who is writing off movies for tax payments, canceling movies, and pushing movies far into the future, obviously the strikes did not help with any of that, but that's what's going to happen. I don't think it's a good sign when they announce that Superman Legacy is going to start filming in March of next year and still have a release day of July 2025. You're literally only giving this film a year, at very most year and a couple of months, to film, go through post-production, and edit. A film in which the pressure is just squeezing down on them is only given that little amount of time. A film that is a Superman movie, a movie that has to make money, a movie that is kickstarting a brand new DC universe, a film that will bring in comic book fans, film fans, and general audience members. I don't think that is far enough time. This would be a movie that easily should take about 2.5 years, if maybe not even a little bit longer. With all the issues I see in DC and Warner Brothers, issues I have gone over in past videos, I will probably go over in future videos, and just thoughts I have about them in my head every single day, there's one thing about DC that tends to work. A lot of people choose to ignore it. A lot of people don't see it for some reason, or would just like not to see it. They don't want to admit it. The DC brand is successful on darker films. Every single time DC makes a darker movie, it tends to do really well. Christopher Nolan's Dark Knight trilogy, Matt Reeves' Batman movie, the Joker movie, which made $1 billion. I'm even going to throw in Man of Steel and Batman vs. Superman. You can argue with a brick wall all day and say, no, those movies didn't make money, or it didn't make the money that it should have. But you know what? At the end of the day, every single DC movie that has come out within the past, 2 to 3 years has not been able to make the money that his movies made or surpass those movies. So at the end of the day, numbers do not lie. They simply just made more money. And then people will say, well, why does it matter how much a movie makes? That's all you people focus on. Well, yeah, that's one of the most important factors about movies. If you don't make the money, you don't get sequels or continuations. And then you find yourself in the situation that DC and Warner Brothers are currently in. So then this leads to what I said earlier. Stop the DCU. Stop with the connected universes. Stop it. If I were in charge, the DCU would be done and over with for at least the next, we'll say, 5 to 7 years. The only movies you would get as of right now is the Matt Reeves Batman movies and Todd Phillips Joker films. There will likely be 3 Joker films. Then with Matt Reeves' world, you'll likely get a trilogy of Batman movies. You might get 4, you might get 5. You're gonna get a couple of TV shows. You might even get other movies, such as the Scarecrow movie that is apparently in development, that all fits in that Batman world. Why is it okay to have that instead of a DCU? Because Batman sells. The darker stuff of DC sells, and beyond making money, as people don't want us to focus on, it's interesting to more people. It brings people into the theaters. People want to purchase a streaming service to watch this movie when it comes to the streaming service. People want to buy physical media. They want to buy their Blu-rays and their 4K discs for these types of movies and content. I can't tell you how many people I've seen who have said Batman is just everywhere. I'm so drained and tired of seeing so much Batman. But if there's a new Batman movie, I'll go see it. And then the amount of people all over the internet, and even people I know who say, Superman, new movie, I don't care. Probably won't watch it. I think if you could take the next couple of years just focusing on Batman and, like I said, Joker, if we could just focus on crafting really good stories for what already works for DC, gaining people's trust back, not shoving in their faces new DC cinematic universe, rebooting over here, rebooting over there, keeping the same people over here. We got no money, but we're still gonna do it. We're gonna cancel that movie and reboot this movie and make a sequel to this movie that doesn't actually belong in the same universe, but will somehow find a way to take place in the same universe. If you could do that and bring people back in, I think eventually when you allow Matt Reeves to end his world, you could then try for a new DCU. You could then say to me, the reason they won't do that is because they're leaving money on the table. They're going to allow a company like Marvel and Disney to continue raking in the billions of dollars from their connected universe. Well, my answer to that is they're not doing too hot themselves right now, and it seems to continuously get worse for them. But in all honesty, that's what DC's been doing over the past couple of years. So what's another 5 years? Let's be real here. Warner Brothers is very in debt, so it's not like that's going to harm them any more than it already has. However, what I would do after we've taken enough of a break, you've only had Batman, we can try again now. I think you would have to hit heavy. You don't focus on B and C class characters. You focus on the A tiers. You focus on Batman, Superman, Wonder Woman, and you head into Justice League. I think in theory and at heart, starting a world with Superman makes sense because he, at the end of the day, is the end-all be-all for DC. But unfortunately, that's not how he's viewed by many people. You'd kick off the universe with a Batman movie, a Superman movie next. I think you would then jump right into a World's Finest. I honestly believe you'd have to do a Trinity movie just with Batman, Superman, Wonder Woman, and then you'd hit right into a Justice League film. A lineup like that is just punching people in the face. The time for experimentation, which a lot of what the DCU is still trying to do, is not now. DC has experimented. It has blown up in their face. You can even see what experimentation is doing to Marvel. Not a lot of it is working for them. Not only is it time for a break, but when the time would come for another chance at a DCU, you'd have to hit hard and heavy. And another question I could see being asked towards me is, Tyrell, you're a huge DC fan. You love film. Why would you want this DCU not to happen? And I just think there's no problem in just pausing and waiting. We don't need to jump into this DC universe. I think with all the shit we've been through with Warner Brothers, we can be patient for a very good DCU. And look, I got a lot of doubts about James Gunn. If he could end up crafting a really good DCU, that's awesome. I will take it because you know what? That is a lot more content I will be able to make on this channel. But if he doesn't end up doing it, it's not like there's nothing DC to talk about. It's not like there won't be anything DC moving forward. There will always be something DC. But that is my long response to this question. And there is so much more I could say. I just don't want to make this video 2 hours long. Even two, when I think about it, if I was the head of DC, I would still have Warner Brothers towering over me. They still have to distribute my films, so if I make something and Big Zaddy Zaslav over there doesn't like what we've made, it doesn't get released. So really, one of the first things I would be doing in DC is actually motioning for a release from Warner Brothers to be purchased by another company. Warner Brothers does not deserve this brand anymore. And frankly, if James Gunn's world does succeed, Warner Brothers does not deserve to benefit from any of it. They haven't had one chance. They've had 2, 3, 4, too many to count, and they keep butchering it. But who knows? We'll see. All signs point to them really ramping up for a sale sometime in 2024. It might happen. But now, let me know in the comments down below what you think. I know some of what I've said might feel a little bold, but it's just my opinion and it's how I see things. If you are excited for the DCU, I am happy. I wish I could be as excited as some of you who may be. It's just right now, I'm not feeling it. If you are not looking forward to it, let me know some of the things you would do to change things up. But that is all I have for you on this one, everyone. I'm sure it won't be the last time we talk about this situation. But until that time, I will talk to you all very soon.